This channel is about game development mostly, but I wanted to cover this application that is more general, more for everybody. So if you're not into game development, this is still going to be useful for you. And I'll be covering just the bare essentials of Obsidian, but you should already have Obsidian downloaded. This is going to be the first page that you see. These are all the vaults that you have on the left side here. And a vault is basically just a folder. That's all a vault is just a folder where it keeps down all the files. And Obsidian uses Markdown. So if you know Markdown, it's going to be super great for you to just get started because it's going to be super simple. But I'll show you how you can use Obsidian without Markdown. Hopefully it won't be intimidating for you either. Okay, so in order to create a vault, we're just going to click on create a vault. And then we just have to name, and then we just click browse location. I'm just going to call it example. We're just going to save it here in our documents folder, which is fine. It could be anywhere that you really want. You can also store it on the cloud. So if you have Dropbox or iCloud, you can actually store it on there and then you can sync between your devices. But for now, we're just going to create our example folder or vault name, and then we're going to click create. Now this is Obsidian. Let me actually zoom in for you guys and say, welcome, this is your new vault. Make a note of something, create a link, or try the importer. Now we're not going to be covering the importer because we just want to stick with essentials. But we are going to be talking about creating a link. So as you can see, we have this welcome over here, and this is our folder structure. And under here, this welcome is literally just a file, but that's all it is. So over here, we'll see that you have a link. And if I click next to the link, not on top of it, you'll see that we have these brackets. And this is the format of how you create a link in Obsidian. You can see it's a little bit grayed out. If we click on it, it will actually make a new file, the same title as whatever it's called. And you can see now it's brighter. So now this link is actually linking to a new document. But let me just show you an example of how you can make a link. So let's say that you want to make a link about this YouTube channel, right? So all you would have to do is make an open bracket and then another open bracket, and then just type in whatever you want the file name to be called. We can type in Vedas Learning, and just like that, and then press enter. Now, as you can see, this one is live. There's an actual file called create a link. This one is not because there is no file. Now, in order to make that file, again, it's really simple. You just click on it, and then it will automatically create the file right there for you. So it's really cool. But let's say that usually when you're typing or writing something, you don't usually create links while you're doing something. Like you usually are writing out a thought or an idea, and then you would make a link, right? So how to make a YouTube video. And then you say, okay, one, and then they will format it for you automatically. Say, first we record the video. Now you think, this is such a great idea. Why hasn't anybody thought of this before? I need to save this in a different file. So just to have it like separated from everything else, because it's such a great idea, which is true. It's great. What a great idea. All you would have to do is highlight it. Then you just right click on it and extract current selection. And now here you can add it to a different file, or you can just make a new file. So like how to make a YouTube video. And when you do this, it will automatically link that right there. And when we click on it, it'll have all the information that we had right in the file for us. Even after we finish like writing something, we can still create links and then link things up. And on the right in the graph view, you can actually see that we'll have connections from our welcome to every file that is connected to it, just like that. Now this graph view, I'll be honest, don't really use. I know some people find it helpful. I personally don't. And I think that most people don't find it helpful, but it is fun to look at. So, I mean, that is worth something. Now, I mentioned that this also works with Markdown. But if you don't know Markdown, how can you utilize Markdown? There's no like formatting options. Like if I highlight this and then we right click We do see some things like heading 1, and now this is a heading 1, right? But that's a little bit cumbersome to do that. If you come from Notion or something like that, Obsidian has a built-in plugin that you can just enable, and it will allow you to do it much simpler, and it's in the core plugins. So if we go to the bottom over here, click on settings, and then we click on core plugins, and we scroll down, we should see /commands. And then we just enable that, and it's all set to go. It's already installed. We just have to enable it. So now if we do a / and we say heading, now we can set heading as 1. And then we just type, this is heading 1. And then we can write whatever we want to, here. And now every heading below this heading 1 that is less than a heading 1, so let's say, for example, we add in a heading 2, say this is a heading 2, will be able to be collapsed underneath this heading 1. All you have to do that is just click on the arrow, and then now it is all collapsed underneath there. So this is a heading 2. So in order to write a heading 2 in Markdown, all we do is just write 2 $, hashtags, whatever you want to call it, and then we just say heading, another heading 2. And then, and you can see in this outline, we have this heading 1, and inside we have heading 2 and another heading 2. So this is how you can format pretty easily, pretty quickly. You can also do stuff like bold, toggle bold, and then this text is bold compared to this. So all you have to do is just write that /, and then if you want to do italics, that's also very simple. This is italicized compared to this. So if you know Markdown, or if you use Notion, these are options that are available to you. You don't have to use the / commands if you know Markdown, but if you don't, that / command is there. But let's say you wanted something more familiar. You can go to community plugins, and community plugins are the same thing as core plugins, but community plugins, they're made by the community. So it's open source. Obsidian is open source, which just means that anybody can contribute any code that they want. And these are where you can find them. So you just have to click on enable community plugins, and then just straight from here, you just click on browse. And then these are all the community plugins that Obsidian shows inside, like straight from Obsidian. You can get other plugins outside of Obsidian. You're not limited just to this, but there are like a lot of plugins. You know, you have over 1,000 plugins. So the plugins that I want to show you that we're just going to do a quick look over is going to be Kanban. If you don't know about Kanban boards, if you're not, it's just a way to keep track of what needs to get done. Task tracking, project management. It's a really nice tool. Let's go ahead and install this because I feel like this is a pretty essential thing that I always use. We can install it, but it's not enabled yet. And I can show you what happens. You could just enable it here, but if you don't, I can show you where to enable it. If you forget to enable it, if you click off by accident. Now, I mentioned that if you wanted a more familiar experience, you can also get this plugin if you're not comfortable with Markdown or don't want to use / commands, or you just want something more like Google Docs or Word. There's a plugin called Editing Toolbar, just right here. Now, I personally don't use this just because I'm comfortable using markup, but you can just go ahead and enable this. And then we can just click on the options. And then here, you'll just see a bunch of settings. You don't really have to go through all of this. You can if you want to. And then it will just add in this section, and you could just use it just like you would use anything else. This is text. And if you wanted to, that's an H2. Clear formatting, do H1s, H2s, whatever you want to do. You don't have to use this. I don't use it, but if you do want something more familiar to Google Docs or Microsoft Word, you can use that. And speaking of enabling plugins, let's go back to community plugins, and you'll see we have Kanban right here. Now, we haven't enabled this, but we can go ahead and enable this now. Disable that. I actually don't want that. Now, we talked about links. We talked about headers. We talked about how you can use formatting options with / commands, with just plain markup, or with the toolbar if you wanted to do that. We can add in, just like how you would do like welcome, this is a header 1. If we don't put the space and say This is the onboarding. Now we have an onboarding tag. What's so special about this tag? Well, if you have stuff, if you have different files, let's say we wanted a video right here, and then this is also about videos. So we can just type in video right here. You can then just like search, say video, and then it'll bring up all the times that you mention video, including tags. And you can also search tags through here. So we have 2 videos, we have onboarding. So if you want to use tags to generalize the information into a single word or into a couple words, you can do that. Let's say that this one in specific, I wanted to talk about videos, but also about YouTube. You can just do a slash, and then that will bring in YouTube underneath the video tab. Or if you want, you could just have a section where it's just YouTube and you have 2 different tags, one for video, one for YouTube. However you want to do it, but tags are really nice to quickly just click on something and find it like super quickly. And it's really nice. Tags are great. Now I want to show you a little bit more advanced stuff, but still things that I think are essential. As you can see over here, we just have all of our files just like out in the open. We can actually create folders by going up here to this files icon and clicking on the file. And let's say that we want a loose notes file. So we just write loose notes. And I actually also want a Kanban folder. So we can put all of our Kanban boards in there. Another folder that I would recommend is adding in a meta folder. So the way that I like to format this is just by typing 00, and then you could just write in meta if you want. The reason why I type in 00 is just to have it all the way at the top, just so it's like sort of out of the way. Now, the reason why I want the meta folder here is because we want to add in 2 more folders into here. It's like, we're adding folders, what's going on? There's a great thing about Obsidian is that you can actually grab something from online, like nature images right here, nature image. Let's say we have some nature images, and then we can automatically just drag it into Obsidian, and then it will just be here, just like that. You can see there's this like really ugly text. It just goes away after you like click off of it. And you could just add anything you want, any images or GIFs or videos, and you could just literally drag it into Obsidian, and it works. It's fantastic. But if you see here, we have our image as saved as a file, which is fine. We can click right into it in Obsidian and see the entire file just like that. But it's sort of out here in the loose notes. What I like to do is I like to have an attachments folder inside of a meta folder. And I also put it inside of a meta folder because there's a few other things that I like to put inside of the meta folder just to keep things organized and to keep these things out of the way. So let's go ahead and delete this. And then you can see this image is not going to be working anymore just because it doesn't exist anymore. We just deleted it. It's also a nice thing to note that you can add in images like through a URL, so you don't have to download it. I usually don't like doing that because sometimes people can stop supporting an image online, and then you'll just have broken images everywhere. So I like to just like download all the images and folders and files or whatever, and have it stored directly in the Obsidian. So it doesn't matter what happens online, you'll still have access to those images. So let's go ahead and create a new folder inside of here, and we're going to call this one attachments. We're going to go into our settings. We're going to go to files and links, and we have a bunch of options over here. So this is a great place because we already set up our loose notes. So we want a default location, and we can just set it as the default folder, but we can also set it as the loose notes folder just by clicking on this and setting in the folder specified below, clicking here, and then just having loose notes. Now, here you'll also see default location for new attachments, and we can do the same thing where we set it as in the folder specified below. You could also do it same folder as current file. You do whichever one you want. I like to have it all just in one place, and then you just click meta attachments and you're all set. So now when we make a new note just like that, you'll see it doesn't appear under here. It will appear in the loose notes section. And then we can change this name to whatever we want. And this just provides a little bit of organization just so you don't have to keep all these files directly in your vault structure. And now we also have the ability to, whenever we drag something in from online, you'll see it doesn't pop up over here. It pops up in the attachments folder, which is nice. Just a little bit of organization. The other thing that I would recommend putting inside of the meta folder is templates. So if we go to here and we click templates, this is the really powerful thing about Obsidian, is that there's like a couple powerful things in Obsidian where you can use it very easily. One of the things that people love to use Obsidian for is for daily notes. So you can make a daily note in the beginning, at the start of your day. You can have a template that you use as a daily note, and it will automatically generate every single time you use it. So if we go to templates and then we make a new note, let's call this a daily note template. Now, you can set up your daily note template however you want. I personally just do a thoughts section. Then maybe we'll have daily goals, and then we'll also have summary at the end. You can be as thoughtful or make it customize it however you want. I will show you how to make checkboxes. So in order to make a checkbox, you just write a hyphen, a space, an open bracket, a space, and then you close out that bracket, and then you just press space at the end. And then this is a checkbox. This is also a checkbox. You can add in the checkbox just by using a slash command as well. If you don't want to type it out, just do slash, then toggle checkbox status. And then you'll just click that, and then it will also generate a text box. So let's say that this is our daily goals. Say item 1, item 2, and then item 3, right? And then maybe if you want to use this for journaling, this is where you would add in your thoughts for journaling. And then at the end, you could talk about what you did the day. Like this is what you did for the day. And this is just a template. And the reason why we're doing it this way is just so when we make a daily note, this will already be filled for us. And you can add in whatever you want just to customize it to your own experience. Now, I will add in one thing that I'm not going to go too much depth into, just because if you don't do this now in a template, it could just be a little bit bothersome about like adding it in later to all your daily notes. I'm just going to show you right now, and probably won't make a lot of sense actually in this video. Go like, why did we add that in? What was the point of that? This will make your life so much easier if you want to add in more plugins later on that require this feature. Basically, what I'm going to show you is called properties. So each file can have properties. So in order to add in a property, you can just do control and then semicolon. And now we have properties. Now, the properties that I like to add in, especially just for a daily note, is just a doc type. Now, this probably doesn't mean anything to you, but just like what type of document is this file? And for our case, this is just going to be a daily. That's it. Say, why did we do that? What's the purpose of doing this? There are just some plugins that you can add later on that utilize this data, but like if you're just doing bare bones stuff, you don't have to do this. And if you just want to do this, that's completely fine too. You can add in another property that you want, say like status of, or like how the day goes. So like how happy were you that day? So like happiness, and say like really happy or happy or sad or whatever. And you can fill that in. You could just add in whatever properties you want, and then the value of that property. So happiness was happy. And then you can also change these. Let's say that you also want a data type for the date of the day, right? So you click there, we can click on this property. And right now we have text as a property type, but probably for this one, we want date and time. And we could just click right there. And then we can set it for today as right now. And then we have this date, and now this daily notes template will generate this. Actually, it'll generate this exact text. So maybe we just want to clear it just for now, and then we can add in the date after. So this is just a template. This is just a template of what we want our daily template to look like. how do we actually make a daily note? So I'm going to add in another folder called daily notes with an S. And then we're going to go into our options again. And then we're going to go into our daily note section. And now this date formatter, you can set this up however you want. And here you'll see a format reference. Now, if you've never used this before, if you don't know about it, I personally didn't know about it before getting into Obsidian. You can just click on the format reference, and then it'll take you to this site where you can set up however you want to format the day. Now, the way that I like to do it, I think it's pretty nice. I usually do the name of the month, which is going to be day of month, a month right here. So the name of the month, which is going to be quadruple M. Then I like to do the day of the month, which is D lowercase o. And then I like to do the year, which is going to be quadruple Y. So quadruple M, a D lowercase o, and then quadruple Y. Now, if we type that in here, quadruple M, we'll see December. Then we'll do day of the month, which is D-O, and I'll usually put a comma here, and then quadruple Y, or you just do one Y as well. I just like to do the quadruple Y. And then we have this just here. Now, you'll also see in this section, a new file location. We actually want to put this in our daily notes. And then in our template file location, we can also add our template of what we want our daily note template to look like. And we just select our daily note template. And now you can select this, open daily note on startup, which is whenever you open up your vault, you'll open up a daily note for that day. I usually just keep my Obsidian open all the time. So for me, it doesn't really do anything because it's always open. But you can open that up if you want. And now you'll see that we still have this template. If we go inside of our daily notes, nothing is there. The reason nothing is there is because we haven't created a daily note yet. So in order to make a daily note, you can do it a couple of different ways. One over here, if you just go to open today's daily note, you'll see we don't have one, and you can just click on it, and then it will generate one with the formatting that you set in this formatting reference. And then we could change this to today, and then we have that date there. And now this date will be here, and we could just use this as our daily journal or daily thoughts, or let's say today I want to record a YouTube video, which I'm doing right now. Sick. So I'm going to check that off. Summary, almost the end of the day, and it's winter. It's really cold, right? Cold. And we have this all set for us. That's one way to do it. We could just make it that way. You don't have to delete it. You could just click create daily note there if you, whenever you want. You could do the slash command also in order if you want to bring up your daily note. You just do slash, and then do daily note, and then open today's daily note, and it will automatically generate that for you there as well. Type mismatch, date time. I might mess up with you a little bit. That's okay. It's pretty easy. You just click there, whatever. Now, the other way that I want to show you is by doing a shortcut key, Command P or Control P, Command P, Control P, and you can type in daily notes. And here is pretty much where you can find anything that you're wanting to find, and it'll generate it just like that. And again, if that happens to you, probably just click around a little bit just like that in order to get it fixed. Is there a reason why that's happening? Let's check. Oh, it's because we messed it up over here. That's why it keeps generating the incorrect time. Okay, cool. So now that's fixed. We don't want to mess with that. And that's how you create daily notes. Now here, you can have this at the start of your day and then just type in whatever you want. And let's say that you're typing in a thought here and saying, hey, I just thought of this really cool game idea. And then you talk about your idea, talk about game idea. That's the idea, right? And you can just have this read in your daily notes. And then let's say that you want to extract this into a new note. You just say game idea, whatever. This name of game idea, whatever. And if you look inside of your graph, you'll see that on this day, you thought of this game idea, which is pretty cool. That's a pretty cool thing to just have connected just like that. So you can keep track of when you thought of different days. If you're doing YouTube videos for game development devlogs, this is a great tool to have just to say, yeah, on this exact day, I thought of this idea and these were the problems that I was having with it. Or on these days, this is what I did. You have your daily notes, and a lot of people just work right off of the daily notes. So you could, like I said, you can customize that however you want. The last thing that I want to show you is Kanbans. If we go to community plugins, just make sure that it's enabled. It is. We have a bunch of different options. We're not going to go through all the options today. I do want to change this one to pre-append compact, just to make it a little nicer to look at, just so we don't have the huge thing there. So in order to make it a Kanban board, you can do Control P, and then just write in Kanban, or if you want to, you can also do a slash command and do Kanban. And then as you can see, it will not generate the Kanban board there. It'll generate it in loose notes because whenever we make a new file, Kanban board is just marked down, just like everything else. But here we can add in a pretty simple Kanban board is like a to-do list. And we add that list. Then we add in an in progress list. We add this list, and then we have a completed list. And then we can say whenever we put a card into here, it'll mark it as complete. And then we have our Kanban board. So let's say if this is for game development, say, hey, click on this little plus. By the way, that's the setting that I changed over here. So if you want to see it at the top, you can just add in the card right there and then say, movement logic for the game. And then you can add in a tag for this code, like that, code. And then they'll add in the tag at the top here and the bottom. And then you can also turn that off if you want. I usually don't like having the card at the title, so I'll turn that off. And then now you just have it at the bottom. So you have movement logic, and that's a coding task that you have to complete. And you could just click and drag into sections, just like how you would in Trello or wherever you want. So this is pretty nice. Pretty nice. Another great thing that you can do with this is, let's say that you have to publish a YouTube video for a devlog, right? You can add in whatever tags you want. Just click into this again. You can also add in a date by putting the @ symbol. Let's say that you have to get it done by the 31st. And then it'll add that in, and you just press enter. And then it will tell you the date right here. And then you can hide the dates here at the bottom if you... Then you could show as a relative date and then hide the date in the title. And then you'll say in 5 days, December 31st, and you can add in dates like that. And while you're here, you can also say this is for YouTube, right? And then if we click enter, we'll have this in YouTube in 5 days. And even if you wanted to, you could just remove that. So you just say in 5 days. So you could just see it like that. Really powerful Kanban board, just using a couple of @ symbols, hashtags, pound signs, whatever you want to call it. This is pretty much the basics, the essentials that I believe are essential for using Obsidian. It's really powerful. And if you want to get more into Obsidian, I did also want to add in just one more thing, just to customize your experience a little bit more. Let's go to our settings and then go to community plugins. Now this plugin I would recommend downloading because so many people use this plugin in order to customize the experience for their themes. And it's called Style Settings. It's this one right here. So we'll just install it and then enable it. And we'll close out here. And then if we go to Style Settings, nothing's here. Now the reason nothing's here is because you actually have to install a theme in order to utilize this style settings, but so many themes use style settings, so you can manipulate the theme. Go to appearance, and then you'll see the different themes. We have default, and that's it. But you can also manage your theme. And actually, my personal favorite theme that I have just gotten into is actually this one, Anupuchin, this one. But minimal is a really popular theme you can see. So we'll just use this one just so you can see what it looks like. And then you'll see that it does change the colors of certain things around. Does change things a little bit, and it looks different. But in order to get the full benefit of themes, you go to here, minimal, and then you have a bunch of different options that you can change. You could change the interface color for, you know, a bunch of different things. Not too sure what that one is. Well, that's probably, this is for dark mode, right? So you could change it to red. You could change whatever you want. It's really, really powerful, really bright. And minimal is a great theme. And you can see there's like two colors right here. One is white, one is black, because you can, if you want to, change it from dark, which it is right now, to light, which is like this. And you can do so much with themes, not just, you know, changing the colors. And I can even show you really quickly my personal one. And this is how mine's looks like. And this was just with a theme, right? Yep. That's pretty much it. You can do a lot of cool stuff. If you want to continue exploring Obsidian, I would recommend not jumping too far into it unless you're really into it. I know that's what I did. I jumped really deep into it the first day. I spent like hours and hours just going into Obsidian and figuring out what I could do. It's really fun. So if you like to do that, if you think it's fun to do that, of course, do it. But if not, just take it like a day at a time. Once you start to feel like this isn't as powerful as you were expecting it to be, or you thought it was going to be more powerful because so many people were talking about it, then that's the time that you can go out and like discover more stuff. But you know, however you want to go about it. Yeah, I'll let you play around with it. And that's it. That's the end of the video. Thanks for checking it out.